Ihor Michalchyshyn, Executive Director of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress. Thank you for being here again.
Thanks for the invitation again, Matt.
We're watching, and I'm sure you are keeping a close eye of what's happening with the Coalition of the Willing and Mark Carney and the conversations that are happening. Emmanuel Macron is there and is chairing some of these negotiations. From everything you have seen and heard over the course of the day today, do you believe progress is being made in particular about some of those security guarantees for Ukraine?
Yeah, we've seen some really good statements about the Ukrainian peace plan that was presented last week and is being presented today. Ukraine's allies are there, and we expect, shortly to hear more of the details of what they've agreed on. I do feel that, these security guarantee discussions shouldn't. We shouldn't be under any illusion that Russia is about to accept any peace deal or that Russia is prepared to sign a ceasefire, that every night they continue to fire missiles and drones into Ukrainian cities, killing civilians. And so this meeting of Ukraine's allies is one part of the negotiation process, but certainly the more difficult part will be getting Russia to concede to any peace deal.
Yeah, and Vladimir Putin in particular, the criticism clearly has been there about if he is actually serious about some of these peace talks. I'm curious to hear about your thoughts on Canada appearing to be playing more of a significant role in the possibility of this. Is that a positive sign for you?
Definitely, Canada, as one of Ukraine's strongest allies for decades, and particularly in the last 4 years, there's an expectation, I think, from the international community to have Canada play a leading role. Expectation of Canadians that we are there in this kind of role, and I think for Ukrainians, Canada brings a credible voice and credible measure of support to know that we are there with them. But again, all of this rests on putting more pressure on Russia, and that's where Canada can't do that alone. It's going to be an international effort, particularly led by the Americans.
And what do you need to see? Because that was my next question for you. Is that what do you want to see in regard to that pressure from the U.S. in particular? Right, Volodymyr Zelensky has met with Donald Trump. There has been lots of talk from Donald Trump about this, but what in particular needs to ramp up? Is it the economic sanctions? Is it oil? What do you need to see? Do you think to put all in as much pressure as can be done on Vladimir Putin?
Well, unfortunately, we've seen the pressure from Trump being on to Ukraine and onto Zelensky, right, to pressure them to take a peace deal, to pressure them on a minerals deal, to pressure them on concessions. The pressure should be on Russia. The pressure needs to be on Putin to have his economy ruined, his oligarchs arrested, and to be isolated in a way that they haven't yet been. We need to make Russia pay for this war. They need to be all of their assets need to be frozen and handed over to Ukraine so that Ukraine can win and rebuild. And so that kind of ultimate pressure on Russia is what will, we believe, establish a peace deal and force them to the table. Right now, unfortunately, Putin is sitting back and not doing anything other than killing Ukrainians every night with his war machine.
Ihor Michalchyshyn, Executive Director of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress. Thanks for your time again today, sir. Appreciate this.
Bye-bye.